On the seventh day, the armies of Israel, or the people of Israel, walked around the city of Jericho 7 times. The walls fell, except the part of the wall where Rahab, the prostitute, and all of her family were, and they escaped and were taken in to the nation of Israel. A great message of God's deliverance, but also a great message of God's faithfulness and forgiveness and the protection of Rahab. But there was a sad thing that happened. There was one fellow in the camp of Israel who stole implements, silver, and other things, even gods, of the city of Jericho, and hid them in his tent. And his name was Achan. And so we read in chapter 7 this account of Achan. What a sad account it was. What a terrible disappointment it was, this man, Achan. And what great lessons we learn from this. It's sad. Every time I read the story, my heart aches, my heart breaks. And the severe way that God dealt with Achan and with what he had done. Here, of course, the great message is that you can't hide your sin from God. Here was Achan, who had heard what Joshua had told the nation of Israel, and the nation of Israel had practiced. And there was just one man in the camp who had been disobedient. And so they decided they'd go and they'd attack the city of Ai. Not a very big city, it was near Bethel, quite a small city really. And they thought they could take it easily. And they could under normal circumstances, but they went and they were chased out of the city, and 36 men lost their lives. I came back to Joshua, what has happened? Maybe we've been mistaken. We cannot understand. I thought God had promised us that he would deliver us and deliver everybody in this land. And we were told that all these cities were terrified of us, but look what happened. In Ai, they came out after us, and they slew 36 of our men. Of course, Joshua got down on his knees and screamed to the Lord, why are you doing this to me? I wish we'd stayed in Egypt. I mean, if I'd been God, I'd have slapped Joshua on the face, but God's a God of love, thankfully. And he said, Joshua, let me tell you what's happened. There's sin in the camp, and just a little sin will destroy the work of God. What a message that is to each one of us. Listen, you cannot hide sin. It doesn't matter what it is or how long ago it may have been, you cannot hide sin. And God doesn't flow through dirty vessels. He just simply does not. And so God said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Line up the people of Israel, all the tribes. I mean, this is a serious thing. And he says, one man here, just one man here. Lined up all the tribes, all the way down the tribes. When she came to the tribe of Judah, went through the different divisions of the tribe and came to Achan. Asked him, have you stolen the things of God when you were told, things of Jericho when you were told not to? And Achan in terror said, yes, I have. So what do they do? What do you do with cancer? You've got to cut it out. You know, it's not a matter of forgiveness. It's a matter of cleansing. There are a lot of people say, well, I did make a mistake. I promise I won't do it again. No, a lot of people make promises that they don't keep. That's exactly what the devil does all the time. That's not called a promise. It's called deception. So God said to Joshua to take this man to the valley of Achor, take everything that he has stolen, crush it and burn it, and then destroy the man and burn him, and build a mound there of stones in the valley of Achor. Now, what is the real message of this account? Listen, just because you know the Word of God doesn't mean to say you're going to obey it. And if you don't, there's going to be trouble. But our God is a God of forgiveness, as we saw with Rahab. And not only forgiveness, but cleansing. That great verse we all know in 1 John 1:9, if, you notice this is, it's a clause that is conditional. If you will fulfill the conditions, you get the promise. If you will confess your sin, our God is faithful and just. He will forgive us of our sin and cleanse us from all our unrighteous deeds. That's our God. And so the story of Achan is, yes, We do make mistakes. But God, we're not under what in the Old Testament was called the law of equalization. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Fortunately, we're not under that anymore. We're under grace. And now we can come, if we will confess our sin openly, honestly, genuinely, God will forgive us, cleanse us, and do a new and special work in our life. Well, we're going to come to another very exciting message tomorrow night. It's a message of Ai. Could they take the city of Ai? Well, you call in tomorrow night and you'll see exactly what God is doing. Great to have you with us. God bless.